It's time for the Greater New York meeting. Forget about it. Welcome to the Product Navigator Buyer's Guide. Insert video here. Okay. Hey, I'm Dr. Chris Salerno, and I promise I will no longer be doing my tough guy Brooklyn accent. And I'm joined here with Dr. Howard Glazer. How you doing, Howard?
I'm doing great. And as a kid from the Bronx, we don't respect Brooklyn at all.
And really, there is no just one New York accent. There's several beautiful melodies that we can hear all over. Now, you're in Jersey right now practicing. I'm on Long Island. This is our meeting, the Greater New York meeting.
This is probably one of the best meetings ever in the world of dentistry. I mean, I'm excited every year when it comes to town. It's like when I was a little kid waiting for the circus. So if you don't plan to go to the Greater New York, you're missing a whole world of materials and information and education. You got to put it on your calendar now.
Yeah, and it's one of the cool things about it, too. It's really an international meeting, too, right? There's a huge international contingency that comes to this show. And I'm sure as a product expert, what gets you really excited is this is one of the meetings where there are a ton of launches.
There's a lot of product launches, a lot of things on my radar to be looking at, and I'm excited to see them live. You know, dentists, we're tactile and visual. Put it in our hands, we can touch it, feel it, smell it. Then we understand it.
Absolutely right. So in this little email, in this series here, we're going to be going through a few of the things that are on our radars. We're looking forward to talking with you. Perfect. That was fun.
Good.
All right. So why don't we do the, so these are going to be even shorter than that.
Fine. Okay.
What I'll basically do is I'll just come in and say, you know, we won't even really have the intro again. We're just going to have a little animation that will play now in front of us talking. And I'll say, so Howard, tell me about one of the products that's on your radar that you're interested in trying out.
Pause before we go into the next one.
But yeah, we won't pause this time, right? I think the animation will just play at the top for this one, and then we just go right into it. So I'll say, so Howard, tell me about, you know, what's on here.
Or not, just going to hit both products.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, let's do them individually. So we're just going to, thanks for clarifying. Yeah, we'll just focus on, say, the Impergum first.
Okay, that's fine.
Talk about that. What are some of the features you're interested in? We'll maybe only have time for a little back and forth because after about 2 minutes or so, we want to be finished, and I'll make sure I close it up so you don't have to worry about the final remarks.
You got it.
All right. Okay. Video 1, Impergum 3M. Well, I'm here with Dr. Howard Glazer to learn a bit about some of the products that are on his radar when he goes to the Greater New York meeting. Howard, tell me about one of the things that's on your checkout list.
Well, impressions are always important for us. For those of us that are not using digital impressions, we still rely on taking impressions of the teeth using materials. And probably the most predictable, most exacting material ever created was a polyether. And when it comes to polyethers, Impergum leads the field. What I'm really excited about is they have changed Impergum now so that they're going to be calling it super quick. And that's one of the problems we had with Impergum in the past. It took too long to set. Now we're talking about a set in 2 minutes. That's incredible.
That's very exciting. I do like my Impergum as well. And, you know, that was one of the issues. You really had to sit and wait a few minutes, and dentists we like to pick up the pace a little bit. So I'm excited. I'm sure you're curious too when you go to Greater New York. You want to play with it, get a sense of the consistency, how it flows, and see if that's still similar, right?
Absolutely, because they're saying the taste is improved, and I want to see that. The snap set is there, which is great. The hydrophilicity is built into the product inherently. So I'm excited to pick some up and try some and go back and see if it just holds up to what they say, which being 3M, I'm sure it will.
And, you know, improved taste, that's always nice to hear about too with the polyethers. Quick last question. I'm curious, when a product expert like yourself is trying out a new impression material, you're at the booth, are there any kind of interesting tests you do? Are you making spiral shapes with syringes? What are you doing?
So the answer, yes to all of the above, and I've been known to taste it at times as well. But chairside, Chris, I very often, when I'm testing in my office, I'll take 2 impressions of the same tooth, one with the new material and one with something I'm commonly using.
Fantastic. So a new ImperGum on the market. It's on Howard's radar. That was perfect.
Yep.
Love it. On to the next. So the other one you're doing is the
proxy check.
You got it. Hey, I'm Dr. Chris Salerno. I'm here with product expert Dr. Howard Glazer. We're learning about what products are on his shopping list, on his I want to check this out list, and he's got another one for us. Tell us about it.
Well, you know, I titled my column, I Have It, You Need It. Well, here's one of the things that I think you may need, and I'm anxious to check it out, and it's being launched at Greater New York. And it's called Proxy Check from Microcopy. So check this out. We know it's difficult to make sure that we've got adequate interproximal contact and that we are fitting our crowns perfectly. We've taken the floss and we go to a snap and we know we've got a good contact. But how do you know where to make that adjustment on the contact if it's not slipping down all the way? You can't get in there. You can't see it. Now you can. This very, very thin, pliable, bendable piece of dual-sided marking material can slip into that interproximal contact.
You know, it's one of those like, why haven't they invented this before kind of things. I know I usually take a little piece of articulating paper, which, you know, may or may not be the appropriate thickness for this kind of thing. And I grab some college pliers and I try to get it in there, and it's usually very cumbersome. I think part of what's interesting about this is that there's an ergonomic, you know, accessibility kind of design to it, that it should be very easy to use.
Yeah, even, you know, fat hands like mine can get into the back of the mouth when I bend this thing. One tip I will give everybody is that make sure you dry the crown and dry the adjacent tooth because it'll pick up the marking much better.
Checking contacts on your crowns with a new product from Microcopy. Thanks, Howard. We are moving along beautifully.
Right.
Okay, so
I'm going to ask you what's on your radar.
Yeah, so to have some fun, you'll actually then kick this off, I guess, and I guess just like I've been doing, you can just say, you know, introduce yourself, and you're here with me, and you want to learn about what's on my radar for Greater New York, something along those lines, and that'll be great. Now, let me see. I am going to be talking about. Okay. Yeah, Comet didn't really give us an actual name other than denture locator tungsten carbide cutter, which just rolls off the tongue.
That's
really.
That's it. That's what the verse called, I guess. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And we're going to do this in 2 segments like we just did.
Just like before. That's right. And I think the length of these is really good.
You do dentures, right?
I do. I do. And I love doing locators chairside. I enjoy it.
So that's a good intro for me.
Works out perfect. Okay.
You tell me when.
Oh, good. Let me see here. Just give an ahem so the camera switches to you.
Right.
Like make a sound or a snap or something.
Hi, I'm Dr. Howard Glazer. I'm the products expert for Dental Economics Magazine. And as I always say, I have it, you need it. But I'm not the only dentist in the world. So, Chris, tell me what's on your radar, because I know you do dentures and I don't.
I actually love doing dentures, and that's a good thing because I think we're going to have a need to do more dentures as we have our aging population out there. So I'm also a fan of using locators. So we'll still put, you know, 3 or 4 implants on the bottom. About 4 on top is usually recommended, and we can now have a nice locator case. Implant retained tissue supported case. One of the challenges though, because I love doing these chair set, I want to get those tissue dynamics. One of the challenges was always, you know, you have to carve those reliefs in the intaglio surface of the dentures. And if you like to do this chair set like I do, you insert your actual abutment, your locator abutment into the patient, and now you have this denture that you have to sit passively on top. And there's a lot of tricks and techniques for how we can start to locate that, but we really need to relieve that denture the right amount. We take away too much, we're eating up into that acrylic, and we can actually cause some weaker points. So Comet has a new product out. It's a denture locator. It's a tungsten carbide cutter, and it's actually made to resemble and mimic what the shapes and the contours, the sizes of the locator abutments, which is great. So we can more precisely remove that denture material. I'm really excited to see how quickly this cuts, and I want to see, you know, how does it exactly match up with the different locator diameters that are out there. But I have a feeling it's going to make that process a whole lot smoother.
So this new burr from Comet can be used both chairside and the lab.
Yeah, so laboratories would also be customers for this. Some dentures, some patients, some dentists, I should say, really prefer to have the laboratory do this for them, and that still works. It's still a beautiful restoration provide for a patient. So laboratories too can start using this burr, but like I said, if you're like me, I think it's worth investing in the materials to do it yourself.
That sounds great, Chris. We have to take a look at that.
Beautiful.
And Lighthouse 360.
Yeah, here we go.
You want me to snap again? Hi, I'm Dr. Howard Glazer, and I'm here with our editor from Dental Economics, Chris Salerno. We're both going to be on the exhibit floor at the Greater New York Dental Meeting, and we both have things on our radar. Chris, what's on your radar?
Okay, so I'm embarrassed to say this, but my practice does not yet have any sophisticated patient communication technology or software that we're using. We have our Dentrix, we love our Dentrix, but we are still picking up the phone and calling patients for their appointment reminders, to fill open spots in our schedule, hygiene and dentist. It is cumbersome, and I have a growing office, and I honestly would love to have my front desk not have to be burdened with making all of those phone calls, and you know, let's automate that process a bit. So there's a few systems that are out there, and one of the ones that I certainly want to check out, because they're one of the bigger players, is Lighthouse 360. You know, a lot of these softwares are doing some similar things, but there are some key differentiators. I think the Greater New York meeting is a perfect time to just go play with these. I know it's not fun to, we love playing with impression material and composites, but we should be playing with software too. So Lighthouse 360 is definitely one of the ones that I need to check out. I want to automate my front desk duties so I can free them up to provide higher level customer service for my patients.
And I think offices, if they're there with their staff, they should have the staff take a look at a lot of these products as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. It makes sense. It works. I know for the Greater New York meeting, there's no fee for attendees, which is always very nice. So yeah, bring them down. Your front desk are the people who are going to have to be using these things, right? So make sure that they're comfortable with it, and they're going to have much better questions to ask. In this case, say the folks at Lighthouse 360, they're going to have really better questions to ask about how this automation is actually going to take place. So I recommend bringing them along.
Sounds great. Make sure to look for Chris and I at the Greater New York Dental Meeting. We'll be walking that floor.
Awesome.
It's good.
One take, as always. I love
it. Let me tell you, show that to Solution Reach after you check it out. I want to do the Solution Reach video. They'll buy.
That's great. You know, and that's helpful too. It's so funny. You know, so honestly, my staff was really interested in Lighthouse 360 only because my partner works one day in another office, and that's what they had, and it works. So they're like, okay, if it works, it works. But she's not the one paying the bills, so that's really good feedback that they're not so genuine about how their fee structure is.
That, and the fact that, you know, if they have any questions, let them talk to my wife. My wife would probably sell it to you. She runs my front desk. She will sell it to you faster than they will. And she's the one that fields the calls from Lighthouse 360. And every time they tell her something, it's like, do you know what they just said? Which we know is wrong. You know, and I check it with Solution Reach. I mean, I know those people from when they started up. So I honestly think you take a look at them. I know there's some interest in doing a video at the booth with them at some point, so we need to pitch that. And you know, one of the things I would do is if you show them, I don't know who does that, your salesperson or whomever, but if they pitch it to them and tell them Howard